Hello, everyone. Welcome to Absurd Arguments. My name's Nathan, and the person who did Jinx with me and now owes me a soda is my good friend Matthew.
Hello.
How's it going, Matthew?
Well, it is another late night recording session because I was talking with my friend the other day about how I make mistakes all the time, and he goes, you really are one of the biggest idiots I know. And I'm like, I'm not beating those allegations anytime soon.
No.
I
think what's worse... Oh.
No, go ahead.
I think what's worse is our subject matter for the night.
Yes.
What we're about to discuss this episode is nothing that should be discussed past 3 p.m., I think.
Agreed.
There's just a limit of brain power available.
Yes. But the reason we're recording late is because I did a white man thing and I scheduled a round of golf with my little brother during the time that Nathan and I would normally record. Because
I like how you call it a white man thing when Tiger Woods is the best golfer ever.
He's a secret white man? No, I can't say that.
You can't say that.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah. So because of this and because of some other scheduling issues, we're recording now. It is past 11 o'clock, which means we're going at it into the wee hours of the morning. So, Nathan, I did a introduction little thing last episode. And so you told me when you were figuring everything out, you're like, don't worry, I've got this. So what do you have for us?
I don't got this. Not psych. I do got this. I have our returning segment, and it's all themed, and you'll eventually catch on to the theme, and so will our listeners. But the segment of which is the worst.
It's the only thing you do.
Shut up. I do other stuff, like make you try to read names that don't make sense to an English speaker. There's been others. It's just true. One of my favorite segments, okay, Matthew?
That's fair.
So with this one, you're going to have to role play a little bit. So you'll have to get into the headspace of this type of individual I'm telling you about.
Okay.
And I think it'll help you answer these, okay?
All right.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, great. Okay, so for this first one, I need you to pretend that you're a professor. Okay? And let's say...
it's my lifelong dream.
Let's say you teach stuff on boring things like philosophy and political theory, okay?
All
right. So which is the worst? You are hired to give a guest lecture, but right after you're done, the organizers tell you that there's going to be a reception afterwards. And you know that when you go, all of the dumb people who didn't ask a question in the guest lecture are going to ask you dumb questions. Okay?
Yes.
So that's one.
Uh-huh.
Or, which is worse? Or, even though you act like a madman with a grizzled beard and you're constantly wiping your nose with your hand, your students in your class still want to talk to you and ask for advice on writing papers, even though you try your best to look like someone they shouldn't trust. Which is the worst?
Okay. Obviously, you probably know what my answer is going to be, but I need to ask another clarifying question.
Uh-huh.
I'm a professor in both scenarios.
Correct. Yeah, but one, you're like a guest lecturer somewhere.
Yeah, I'm a guest lecturer, but the second one, my job...
This is your own classroom.
It's my own classroom. These are my students I'm teaching, and I'm trying to avoid them.
Bingo. You get it.
Okay, so my answer is twofold. The first one I obviously would hate with a great passion,
Yeah.
because it has happened before and I cannot stand it. Not as a guest lecturer, but talking about something and then having someone come up to me and ask one of the dumbest questions I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
The other thing, I would be the idiot because it's my job to teach and I don't want to teach. So
Right.
in that sense, that would be the worst because I'm
Okay.
the worst.
Okay. Well,
But in
I'll
all
actually tell you.
seriousness, the first one absolutely bat crap crazy.
Well, this actually comes from this guy named Slavoj Zizek from Slovenia.
I'm sure that's how you pronounce it.
and and he's an anti-capitalist Marxist philosopher, modern day philosopher.
My favorite.
And I read an interview he gave, and he mentioned both of these things that he does.
No,
How people
wait,
annoy him.
what?
Yeah, he does both of these things. He's like,
That makes
people will come
so
up.
much sense.
He's like, I go to the reception. People come up to me and they say, I know you're tired, but I did want to ask. And he's like, well, if you knew I was tired, why would you ask? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, he gets annoyed when students ask him questions. I was really inspired by your lecture, Professor. Could you tell me how to write what I should write about? He's like, no, I'm not.
Wow.
He's great. All right, you ready for the next one?
Shoot me.
Okay, this one has 3
question.
options, okay?
Shoot me the question. Don't actually shoot me.
Sure.
I have a golf round
Okay,
tomorrow.
for this one, you need to pretend that you're in a cult. Okay? You're part of a cult, and there's a series of rules.
Okay.
I'm going to mention 3 of them. You're going to tell me which rule is the worst to follow. Okay?
So this is actually a which is the worst because we're now dealing with 3 options. We're finally dealing with a which is the worst situation. It took you how many times we've done this?
This one's called which is worse.
Well, of course.
Just so I can be still grammatically incorrect. Okay, so the first rule, you're not able to eat beans. The second rule, you're not able to bake bread.
Okay.
And the third rule, you're not able to take public roads. Which is the worst?
The third one. That's the worst. No, I can't take public roads, so what do? Drive through people's yards?
Right.
Like, almost every single road is a public road. Don't eat beans. That's fine. It's not really a part of my everyday diet. Can't bake bread. Never baked bread in my life. Those 2 are simple, but I can't take public roads.
Yeah. Now, can you tell me which famous mathematician made this cult?
Einstein?
Pythagoras.
Oh my gosh.
And apparently, there's some accounts that some of his followers were going to try to kill him, because they were annoyed with these rules.
Wait. Pythagoras? The guy who made that theorem or theory or whatever.
Yes.
Triangles.
The Pythagorean theorem. He had a cult. And these were some of their rules. They couldn't eat beans. They couldn't bake bread.
But that makes a little more sense because public roads weren't really a thing in ancient Greece.
Yeah. Dude, Alexander the Great, made the roads. But do you want to hear one of the accounts of how he died?
Absolutely.
I don't know if this is fully true.
Doesn't matter. When have we ever been a reputable podcast that's given facts?
So apparently, he was being chased by some of his followers who wanted to kill him, and he came across a bean field, and he refused to cross through the bean field because of the bean rule.
No.
So they caught him on the edge of the field and killed him. Because he didn't want to cross through the bean field, Matthew.
What an idiot.
He's so dumb.
Oh,
All right. I've got another one for you.
all right.
Okay. This one, we're going to a different part of the world for a while.
All right.
You're a Zen master.
Heck
Okay. You have mastered the art of Zen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So which is worse? Not being accepted to a monastery. Even though you're a great Zen master, you're not accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So what you decide to do is meditate in a cave for 9 years. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's option one. Or you are accepted to the monastery, but the monks are the wimpiest monks ever, and now you have to teach them martial arts so that they can fight and defend themselves. Which is worse?
Honestly, I would say not being, granted the rank of master and not being able to take a seat in the council, that wouldn't be very fun, especially because I'd have to go live in a cave and probably only eat beans. So really
Right.
spit in the face of Pythagoras. But I would say that was
Right.
worse because, training people in martial arts, I mean, if I know martial arts, that's fine.
Yeah, this is, okay, well, this is from Bodhidharma, who's apparently the founder of Zen Buddhism, and he's also considered the founder of Shaolin Kung Fu because he did both of these things.
Nice.
He tried to join the Shaolin monastery, and they said no, so for 9 years he meditated in a cave, and then they finally accepted him, and he was like, you guys stink. I'm going to teach you how to fight Shaolin Kung Fu. And so he taught them Kung Fu.
Beautiful.
All right, I've got another one. You got two more. So for this one, I need you to pretend that you're homeless. Okay?
All right, that's pretty easy.
Yeah. So this is actually very mild compared to the other stuff I could have told you about this guy. So we'll just keep it here. Which is worse? Practicing your begging technique before statues so that you can get used to being rejected, or walking backwards in public.
Which is worse?
Yeah, which is worse for a homeless man?
Probably only walking backwards. What if I run into someone who has a home? That wouldn't be great.
I don't know, man. This is from Diogenes, who
Yes, Diogenes.
who truly embraced the cynical lifestyle, and tried to have nothing at all. Like one time, the only possession he had was like a bowl to eat out of, but then he saw a kid drinking water with nothing, with no bowl or anything, so he destroyed his only bowl because he was. I guess he was jealous of how much less this kid had than him.
I love the ancients. They were some buck wild people. I was reading one of the first recorded history authors in the West. His name is Herodotus, and he was talking about kind of really the start of the Greek and Persian War. And pretty much what he said was the princess in whatever country, I think it was Greece, went out with her friends to do some shopping from some merchants that set up shop on a beach, and she got abducted. And he pretty much said, well, since she got abducted, that's her fault because she was asking for it.
Oh my gosh.
I love the ancient people just saying the most buck wild things ever.
Yeah, they're crazy, dude. It's because they didn't have TikTok or YouTube back then.
Yeah, they didn't have podcasts for people to tell them how to live their life properly.
Right. Okay, my final one, which is the worst. Okay, in this one, you need a role play. This is going to be a tough one because you've
Right.
never done this before. Okay, so you're dead. All right.
I was about to say, you don't know. No, you actually do now.
I actually do. Uh, so, which is worse? Okay, now this is in your will. This is kind of what you want done. It's going to
Right.
happen.
Right.
Which is worse? Being dissected publicly for everyone to see,
Nice.
or have your remains mummified and put in permanent display in some college or museum somewhere?
Well, that means I'd have to be mixed up in communism, and we've already pre-established I'm the resident capitalist, so both are pretty bad. But
Yeah, they both suck.
I guess being mummified and being on display um, is really more than anything super weird. So I would say that one's worse.
Yeah, this is from the philosopher Jeremy Bentham, uh, who was an Englishman, and you can go. I think you can still go find his body at the University College in London.
I thought you were talking about Karl Marx.
I know you thought I was talking about Karl Marx, but I wasn't. This is
Oh
Jeremy
no.
Bentham. Yeah, and so I got all of these weird things from BigThink.com. So yeah, thank you to Big Think and all these weird philosophers.
What's wrong with
The
people?
weird things they did.
Oh my gosh.
Bro, I don't know. I don't get it. Well, folks, if you didn't get it yet, this episode's about philosophy.
Yes, it is.
Now, fun fact, I hate it, but Matthew loves it. So this could be a really awful episode for one of us.
Hey, also, here's a fun fact. I didn't come up with this topic. Nathan did.
Hey, that's inside baseball. They don't need to know that.
But I have taken many classes in philosophy when I was in college. I pretty much took a history of philosophy class. I've taken different types of specialized philosophy classes. And so I have done my research by the books I read in college over what we're going to discuss today. Nathan, how did you do your research?
Well, I want to explain to the folks at home
Mm-hmm.
my bona fides when it comes to philosophy. This will help explain to y'all my views on philosophy and how much I enjoy it. I took one philosophy class in high school, and it was all right, but we had to write a paper, and so I wrote my paper on not Platoism or anything like that. I did it on Neo-Platoism because
Platonism.
yeah, whatever. And it starts with the letter N, just like my name.
Wow,
That was the main reason I picked that paper.
that's pretty bad.
Yep, it was a bad paper too. You're right. So my research today, I found something really funny just on one of our topics, and I was like, I'll stick with it for the rest of it. So I actually went to the opposite of books from learned people, and I was on Quora, the asking questions website. I didn't get a lot of information, but we'll see
You
how it
got
goes.
some jokes.
I got one joke.
All right,
That's
then.
it.
Well, without further ado, let us cue the music. All right, so as we begin to think about philosophy, let us start with Rene Descartes. I think, therefore I am.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nathan, I am going to take the stance of agreeing with Rene Descartes. And that is,
Right.
one of the most famous philosophical statements. You have elected to say, no, I don't agree with Rene Descartes. So I
No.
would personally like to hear your reasonings for why you disagree.
I know you would, but I really think you should go first to establish a baseline of what it is.
That's
You
fair.
know?
So in his book, A Discourse on Method, I had to go through and reread it just so I can find that phrase. And as I was reading it, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot so much of this crap.
Yeah.
So let us pick up in section 32, part 4 of Discourse on Method. And finally, considering the fact that all the same thoughts we have when we awake can also come to us when we are asleep without them being any true, I resolved to pretend that all these things that had ever entered my mind were no more than true illusions of my dreams. But immediately afterward, I noticed that while I wanted thus to think that everything was false, it necessarily had to be the case that I, who was thinking this, was something. And noticing that this truth, I think, therefore I am, was so firm and so assured that the most extravagant suppositions of the skeptics were incapable of shaking it, I judged that I could accept it without scruple as the first principle of the philosophy I was seeking.
So in Nathan terms, he tried to doubt everything and was like, I need one thing I can never doubt. And that was the first thing he thought of was
It is literally the
therefore I
fact that
am.
he can doubt.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. It's like, I doubted. I thought. I exist.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Rene Descartes.
All right. So I've got a few things. I mean, off the top of my dome, Matthew.
Uh-huh.
All right. This is why this is a dumb saying. Okay. Because
I love the fact, before you get into it, I just love the fact this book was written in the 1500s, if I remember correctly. And you're like, yeah, this guy really, he put a lot of thought into it. He's stupid.
it's because it's my position, Matthew.
It's the 1600s. My mistake. Anyways.
And I win the argument then because you mentioned the wrong date.
Tot. Shut up.
Okay, so first off, all right, this is off of me before I share the stuff I found on Quora, but just thinking about it for a second, okay, like you ever hear comedians talk about the differences between men and women, right?
Just from time to time.
And so one of the common things comedians like to harp on is how men and women think differently. So like women, for example, like can barely ever turn their brain off. They're always thinking about something. This is what I've heard. I
was about to say, you speaking from experience.
No. So I heard they're always thinking about something and it'll loop around and, you know, there's thoughts and thoughts and thoughts about all sorts of things. Okay. But with men, we can organize our thoughts into boxes, you know, and we are exceptionally skilled at thinking about nothing at all. So does that mean if I'm thinking of nothing, Matthew, I cease to exist?
Well, no, because you're currently thinking about
But I was
nothing.
But nothing. Okay, but nothing is nothing. So shouldn't I be non-existent?
Nothing is simply the absence of something. Therefore, it is still something.
So it should still be the absence of self, myself, because I'm not thinking about anything.
Yeah, but your brain is
what I'm trying to get at, Matthew.
What I'm trying to say is, Nathan, you're a hollow shell of the man you used to be.
Oh, let me start thinking again. Now I'm a person. That's what I'm trying to get at, Matthew, is men can blink in and out of material existence at will, just by not thinking about anything. Descartes did not account for this.
That is one of the craziest leaps in logic I have ever heard, and I am chronically on the internet.
Yep. Okay. So here's some of this best stuff I saw from Quora. This is probably the best joke I've heard ever in my life. But
All right.
somebody just asked, "Was Descartes an idiot?" And Bruce Silverstein replied, "He would be if he thought he was." Is Descartes an idiot? He would be if he thought he was.
If he thought he was.
It's so true.
The fact is, Descartes was trying to prove his own existence because for him, the only true, pure existence was God himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's trying to figure out where he fits in the equation. And in the preceding part of the book, he's talking about dreams and how he can dream, but the dreams, he's experiencing things with his senses, but they're not real. And so he's trying to figure out, well, is the dream different from reality? And he's going through all this, and that brings him to the final thought of, well, if this comes from me and I am trying to think and figure this out, well, then I must exist because I am bringing my thoughts into existence, which means I'm an originator of my thoughts, which means I exist if my thoughts exist.
Yeah, but did he ever think he was an idiot? And if so,
I don't think he would have thought of himself as an idiot, considering he was French and didn't have an English word for idiot.
Idiot. Just would say idiot in French accent.
He's a moron.
I don't know what that means. I don't want to repeat it.
He's a moron, but I said it with a French accent.
Moron. Oh, ho, ho. The stinky Americans. You know? Yeah. That one joke from Quora is all I have on Descartes.
Oh my gosh.
And my own dumb thing. I mean, because it's so true. You really can't. Like, I mean, it is the most basic of basic things of just your identity, you know, just of this is something I know because I can think. Even if they try to bring it back with like the brain in a vat thing and the matrix theory just still doesn't work.
Which, I mean, it's still, he's the one that later in that book brings it up of just like, well, is everything really real? Or if we're just like a brain in a jar and some evil demon is poking and prodding these things to where I'm sensing and I'm thinking I'm sensing these things. He's like, well, at least I exist, but do I exist as I perceive myself? And it's just like, why? This is my thing with philosophy. I've read plenty of books. I've done plenty of research and paper writing and everything. And there's a Bible verse that comes to mind where Paul's like, hey, a lot of knowledge really wears you down.
Yeah.
And it's just like, or is either that or is in Ecclesiastes.
It's Ecclesiastes by Solomon, yeah.
Yeah. It's like a lot of knowledge really wears you down. And like these people, I'm reading through my metaphysics books again, getting ready for this episode, and I was like, oh my gosh, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. And what's amazing is I didn't even have to read this book to also come to that conclusion. That's kind of what's insane.
So, Nathan, here's the real question, though. How do you perceive yourself?
You know, I think, but then sometimes I don't think. But when I'm thinking, I am. But when I'm not thinking, I am. That's what I think.
That was That was like an AI generated sentence of just.
If you asked AI, what's the opposite of I think, therefore I am?
I don't think, therefore I not am.
Yeah. I don't think, therefore I not
You
am.
need to tone down the creativeness on your AI generator going on right now.
Right. Now, just in case, I doubt it. I really highly doubt it. But just in case we have an extremely intelligent listener who's like, oh my gosh, there's so many things I could say about Descartes' dumb phrase. You should definitely email us so that Matthew can read it and enjoy it, because he's the only one who will. He's the only one who will enjoy chewing on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go, wow, thank you for emailing us. That's it. I think we should move on.
All right, so our next one, we bring up a philosophical conundrum. And this
Yeah.
is a famous one, and it is the ship of Theseus. Now,
Yeah.
I think it was this book. We gotta look it
Oh,
up real
geez.
quick.
Are you gonna tell us what it is?
Hold on. Give me a second.
Okay. Well, according to Quora, imagine having to thumb through a book for the answer instead of just Googling it.
No, it wasn't that book. I think it was this one. I should have put bookmarks when I was thinking well, and not
Right.
when I'm struggling. Gosh,
Yeah.
I gotta look up freaking.
All right. Okay, folks, I'm gonna tell you what it is.
All right, you tell us what it is then.
Okay, so there's this ship. It's owned by this guy named Theseus. He's Greek, and it's a pretty great ship, but he has this ship for hundreds of years, but he just keeps needing to replace parts on the ship constantly. Okay, now in some avenues they say he takes parts of the ship to make a new ship or another ship with those parts that he's replaced with, but we'll just say he takes the parts, replaces them with new parts. Is it the same ship? Is it still the ship of Theseus, even though he's replaced every, the Theseus, even though he's replaced every single part with a new part?
Now, it's not just that he has replaced every single part, but he has also rebuilt a completely different ship with the old pieces of the of the ship. So now you technically have two ships of Theseus, but only one is the real ship. And so the question then becomes, which ship is Theseus's ship?
Yeah.
Is it page 90?
So I guess
Yes, here it is. Okay.
just Google the answer.
I have it.
Quora has all the answers.
So this is the book Metaphysics, the Key Concepts, put out by Routledge Key Guides. Now I'm going to read exactly what Nathan said, but in real words. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
But so the issue is, which ship is Theseus's ship? Is it the one that was made with the new parts and replaced that he owned, or was it the one that people, pretty much rebuilt with all the old parts? And Nathan, you're going to say
it's the same ship.
It's the same ship.
I think I also misunderstood the Theseus ship.
Yes, you did.
Paradox.
So you're going to say the replace.
They're what? No, I mean I'm saying they're both the same ship.
Oh no, that changes.
It does. I know it does, and I'm gonna stick with it. They're both
all right.
the same
You do
ship.
that.
Yep. Yeah. uh, look, man, they're both called the ship of Theseus, right?
Theseus.
I'm gonna get it wrong just because now.
It's okay. I'm
Um,
probably wrong.
yeah. So, ship of Theseus, both of them are the same ship because the sameness is about the what it's supposed to be used for. Like it's both its job. Um, it's like a conceptual identity, according to Hisashiro Mitarai, uh, who answered on Quora. You know, it's not the sum of its parts, nor are the parts the sum of their molecules. It's only the identity we give it. You know,
So,
um,
Nathan, what if I have a dinghy
it would be
and
dingy if you owned it.
what if I've
Man, I
got a
meant to
little
say
tiny
dingy. I meant to say it would be dingy if you owned it. Whatever. Go on.
um what if I named it the ship of Theseus?
Uh huh.
The purpose, I would make it the same exact purpose as the ship of Theseus. So, does that mean I no longer own my boat and Theseus owns my boat even though he's really super dead, or if he ever existed? Um like, is it his ship or is it my ship? Cuz
Well,
it,
the
cuz it
Seuss.
serves the same purpose.
Well, the Seuss, as I like to call him. He
Is he a doctor?
if it's just the Seuss, man. Yeah, he's a doctor. Um, look, if he says, "All right, this is
Mhm.
my ship," and then he has another one made of the same parts, or replaced, and then he also goes, "Hey, this is my ship."
Mhm.
It's the same ship. Like, do you get it?
So, so Nathan, what you're saying is you're taking an extreme view of endurantism and saying,
Don't you dare. Don't you dare to assign a philosophy to me.
okay,
Don't you freaking
do you
dare.
want
I'm an
perdurantism or
individual.
endurantism? Which flavor of ice cream would you like?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare try to be like, oh, this is your philosophy. I don't have one. I follow
It's no
Nathan's.
durantism. That's my philosophy.
Look, according to Rick, uh, stupid last name, but Ace Hole, the word ace.
Acel?
Anyway, on Quora, yeah, Ace Hole, and he says that his opinion about this is it's stupid. Like,
Same.
it's semantics. It's just semantics, man. It's all about
Yes.
how you define the word same in general or for this specific matter. Like the idea of sameness is a subjective human construct. So of course there's no right answer to it, Matthew. It's just a semantics problem.
Wow, he somehow gave a stupider answer than the one that you gave. So here's my issue.
I'm
I'm
not
going
going
to
to admit I like this answer. I was like, man, my ace in the hole.
No. No. So
Anyway,
so
continue.
so my thought is, if Theseus is replacing a single plank in his ship, it's probably because it's a bad plank. So if you
Hmm.
take every single plank that Theseus um, replaced or replaces, and you rebuild the ship of Theseus, it's not
Yeah.
gonna be a very good ship. It's
That's a good
gonna it's
point.
gonna be the world's first submarine.
Hmm.
Like,
Good
it's
point.
it's filled with broken stuff. So obviously that wouldn't be a ship because it wouldn't be a very good one. And whatever dude said it serves the same purpose, that's kind of a ridiculous way, because then again every boat serves the same purpose of, does it float, does it transport, it's a ship.
Yeah.
So of course, if you look at metaphysics, then you can't use that. You can't, get something down to the simplest part, because then everything is a chair, including a table. And those are different things, but the same thing, but they're different. I hate metaphysics. I hate it so much. I failed the class, so I had to take it again, and then I barely
Oh,
passed the
gosh.
second time.
Gosh. See, Matthew, I never failed metaphysics
Because you
because you
never
can't
took
fail something, you
metaphysics.
never take it. You know?
You know, I'm reminded of all this philosophical talk from the animated film Robots, starring Ewan McGregor.
Ah, yes.
And in it, Drew Carey's character has a line that has stuck with me through my entire life. And it is simply this: never try, never fail.
Words to live by.
Words to live by. So the
Thank you,
first
Robot Drew
issue
Carey.
the first issue we have is Theseus is trying to rebuild his ship. Here's the
Yeah.
problem. If a ship has a hole, it might be easier to just buy a new one.
A new hole?
So a new ship, not a new hole.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like that's the more easy, obvious answer of, that's not my ship anymore. I sold it. This is my
Yeah.
ship now. Of course, then you'd have to look at John Locke's view on ownership and property, to where
Jeez. No, I wasn't. Hey, that's cheating. You can't bring in other philosophers into this.
I've already
I
talked
only,
about endurantism and perdurantism, and you're
I
a no
only,
durantism.
I only accept Drew Carey robots from the movie Robots,
Starring Ewan McGregor.
starring Hume McGregor. He's also in it.
He's also.
Uh,
So, Nathan, I'm going to be honest. All of this comes down to our final philosophy that we're going to talk
yep.
about. And this is none other than, again, one of the most baseline philosophical virtues of Occam's razor.
Yeah.
Now, I have two questions for you, Nathan.
Okay.
Who is Occam, and why does he have a razor?
His name is William of Occam, but his first name is kind of, I mean, it's boring. So they livened it
Wow.
up and they were like, your name is Occam now.
What
And
if
his
what if
razor.
what if someone said, "Hey, Nathan, you're going to be super famous. However, your name is really boring."
Dang,
So,
that hurts. Dude, honestly, because of my stance, I need to take that back. This guy, William of Occam, we have dropped William of because it's too long. I think that's the simplest way to describe this.
mm,
I'm sorry for my really complex thing I said earlier. That was wrong. Um, Occam's razor is not a razor to slice things with, but it is a way to uh dang, it's too late at night for this.
it
It's
is.
it's usually, look, put in the basic of basic terms, it's not
Mm-hmm.
even right. Just the simplest answer is usually correct.
Mm.
Is the right one. The simplest answer is best. But he'd also use it for like instead of a lot of complex things, like a lot of different things, you would limit it yourself to
Mm.
a thing. Does that make sense?
So, I've been getting these ads on Instagram about these razor companies like Gillette and
Yeah.
Harry's razors, and they're like, "Look,
Hmm.
you're getting all these packs of razors. They're not even good quality razors, and you're spending a fortune buying new, razor heads to refill and everything, when here is insert single razor company who makes pristine stainless steel handles and a single bladed razor that gets a clean shave in."
Yeah.
But I like having a lot of razors.
Mm-hmm.
Because if someone breaks into my apartment, if the only thing near me is my razor, then I've got 5 of them bad boys right there. I can pick one out at a time and go boop, boop, and like kind of throw it at him and probably miss him until the last one.
Right.
If I had Occam's razor, I just have one shot.
Yeah, but that's all you need.
And Nathan, I'm not an athlete.
Yeah, you are. You play golf.
I've never said I play golf well. Let's be honest. Everyone who plays
Dude, there's
golf.
bad athletes. The Panthers this year, man. Come on. I'm dipping my toe, Matthew, into sports humor. How do you like it?
Wow, Nathan, I never would have expected you to make a joke like that. Oh my gosh.
Look, man.
So according
Here's
to metaphysics, the key concepts,
no. I mean, go on.
Occam's razor can be summarized as: do not believe in something unless there is a really, really good reason to.
What?
Exactly.
I mean, okay, yeah.
Because, I mean, most people go to, well, it's the simplest answer. But the thing is, sometimes the simplest answer isn't always the best answer. In
Well,
philosophy, you have 2 goals. The simplest answer that answers the most questions. And so what you have to do is you have to put things together and try to get to the simplest answer that answers the most questions. And sometimes you're sitting here and you have a lot of questions to answer and just go, yeah, Theseus should have sold his ship.
Right.
What if he lived in a desert and he had a ship out there?
Yeah.
He's not going to sell a ship anytime soon.
You know, I like to think of the things I saw on Quora talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
One guy, this is weird, I guess. I'm quoting a guy named Swamiman.
That's it.
And he's talking about a Joe Rogan podcast episode.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So he said there's this one where Joe Rogan's talking to this guy, and the guy's talking about, he's walking through the woods, through the bushes, and he hears the croaking of a frog nearby.
Mm-hmm.
And his friend said that Sasquatch has the ability to mimic any creature, and when he got home, he realized that frog was actually a Bigfoot mimicking the sound of a frog.
In the game Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
Clearly, this is a bad example of Occam's razor not being used. You're in the woods, you're in a bush, you hear a croaking of frog. The evidence points to that's a frog there, not Bigfoot.
Yes, but again, in the game Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
A philosophical masterpiece.
Yes, it is a beautiful game. There is a animatronic called the Mimic. And what it does is it mimics people's voices so that it draws you into a false sense of security and kills you. And the entire time in the DLC, the downloadable content of Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach Ruin, you are being tricked by the Mimic the entire time. And Occam's razor says, oh yes, I'm hearing my friend use this radio to call for help, when in fact it was a Bigfoot-like animatronic.
Yeah, That's honestly a great support for your position, except for the fact that you're using something from Five Nights at Freddy's universe to support your position.
Uh-huh.
I,
Is
I,
there something wrong with that?
I mean, doesn't seem very reliable.
Well, you
Doesn't.
take that up with Reddit, and we'll see how that
Oh,
goes.
geez. No, I just use Quora now because
Oh, of course.
they ask cool questions about philosophy stuff. I never knew. I thought it was just like, stuff like how much mayonnaise is too much mayonnaise in my tuna salad.
That's a good question. I was watching a binging with Babish video, and I learned how to make ranch dressing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Golly, you really are like you play golf. You now know how to make ranch dressing. Like, are you trying to become king of the white people this year?
Shut up. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'll vote for you, I guess. Like, you've earned it, but
I can't
still.
be the king of the white people because I'm already the duke of normal people.
You're going to be the Duke of King of normal white people.
Oh gosh.
And I'll be the people. I'll be the king of the people who are trying their best to prove Rene Descartes wrong.
Here, let me take this
Like,
moment to snap out of existence while I empty my brain. Oh my gosh, does that mean if people meditate, they die?
they die.
Oh no!
Meditation is the exact opposite. Is the exact opposite of I think, therefore I am.
Rene Descartes, he in a weird alternate timeline, he goes over to, China or Japan or whatever, Korea, and they're like, hey, you've got to empty your mind. And Rene Descartes' like, no, don't do that! You'll die!
That's the baseline!
No! You're gonna, ah!
Not my first axiom. Not the first axiom.
Not the thing that I'm gonna build the rest of my career off of. You can't just throw it away like that.
They're like, watch me think of nothing.
And then they fall over and die.
And then we have Bodhidharma in the cave for 9 years.
That's why he was in the cave for 9 years, because he had to be resuscitated.
They're like, dude's probably dead in there. We gotta get in there.
Again, we get towards the end of the episode, and we just take such a dark turn.
We do. They came to him. They came to Bodhidharma, and they were like, "Would you like to join our monastery now?" And because he thought maybe.
And this was his response.
Okay.
There was no response because he died.
Oh, he didn't die in the cave. He died doing what he loved, teaching the monks kung fu.
And then ceasing to exist by not thinking.
Yeah. Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I think we have plumbed the depths of the human mind, and I think we've adequately proven that Matthew was extremely well prepared. Like I felt like a kid with a pool noodle fighting a pirate with a saber on his, in his hand.
I did text you earlier today, Nathan. How much research is too much research?
And as soon as you texted that to me, I was like, it's over. What should I even try? And then I lucked out by finding that Rene Descartes joke.
Dude, that was such a banger joke.
I was like, this is the only way I can win.
And then you had whatever that dude Acehole said. That was kind of was kind of weird.
He was not my ace in the hole.
No.
Anyway,
it's the second time you used that joke,
now.
Nathan.
I know, we need to stop. This is bad. Yeah. It's too late.
It is too late. It is past midnight, which means I've got to get to bed because, Nathan, you've got to work, and I've got a golf round to go to in the morning.
Oh, geez, yeah. Let's please stop. All right, let's cue the music. Wow, if Rene Descartes heard that song, his mind would be blown. It would be filled with thoughts of, what the heck was that?
Yeah, I was about to say, he would be thinking, what am I listening to? This is awful. This is noise.
It's like, maybe the Matrix is real. Why am I thinking about the Matrix? Anyway.
I have conceptually never thought of an alien until now. The Matrix is real. We're all batteries. What's a battery?
My brain's being flooded with thoughts.
Oh my gosh, I'm existing to its fullest potential.
I've reached the highest plane of existence.
Eat that, Buddha.
Bodhidharma's like, no, empty your mind. Live in a cave for 9 years.
Oh my gosh, we gotta get out of here. We've already mentioned our email. You can email us at absurdargumentsforyou@gmail.com. That is absurdarguments, the number 4, the letter U @gmail.com. But we also have other ways you can reach us.
Yeah. Like on Instagram or Facebook or Threads for some reason.
For whatever reason.
You can find us there. And YouTube.
Yes. You can leave a nice comment about how we're very wrong in our looking and discussion of philosophical arguments that was never meant to be educational or well-informed.
And honestly, if you learned something today, that's your fault. You know?
Fair. That's fair.
You should have known better.
Now, Nathan, before you stop existing, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I gotta be careful here, because if I say no, I'll blink out of existence.
It's true.
I think everyone who's listening to this should have a good day or night if they're listening to this at night, like we're recording. So bye-bye, folks. That's what I think.
Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. And thank you so much for listening to Absurd Arguments, and we will see y'all in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.